Exclusive. Dr. Dre's estranged wife, Nicole Young, demands to know if the music mogul had any children out of wedlock during their 24-year marriage, as she tries to force 3 of his alleged mistresses to testify in bitter $1 billion divorce. These things, they just break my heart when celebrities end up going through these things and they end up losing a ton of their money. It just hits me right here. Gets me right there. Jeff Bezos, not a celebrity, but a rich guy. Nicole Young, 50, wants Dr. Dre, call him Andre Young, to hand over thousands of pages of his financial and personal records in pursuit of her share of his estimated $1 billion fortune. Amazing that a pud like that can make $1 billion, but good for him. If people are dumb enough, and this is what I always say, if people are dumb enough out there to line his pockets, good for him. The records request include a request for any paperwork relating to paternity suits Young, 55, may have been involved in during their marriage. Court documents obtained by dailymail.com claim that she is demanding to know whether the music mogul had any kids outside of their 24-year marriage. And you'll see why she's wise to ask this when I show one of the photos below. This comes just days after Nicole urged a judge to force 3 of her soon-to-be ex-husband's alleged mistresses to testify in their messy divorce. Nicole is trying to subpoena 3 women: singer Jillian Spear, model-turned-skincare entrepreneur Keely Anderson, and Crystal Rogers, the queen of Latin hip-hop. Nicole claims they are all former lovers of the music mogul, but all 3 women are fighting Nicole's legal efforts to depose them. You ready for some photos? Andre Young's estranged wife is demanding to know whether the music mogul had any children with women outside of their 24-year marriage, new court documents claim. Nicole, 50, wants the hip-hop legend to turn over thousands of pages. We read about that. And according to new legal documents filed at Los Angeles Superior Court and uncovered by dailymail.com, those records include a request for any paperwork relating to paternity suits Young, 55, may have been involved in during their marriage. This comes just days after Nicole urged a judge to force 3 of her soon-to-be ex-husband's alleged mistresses to testify in their messy divorce. And you know, with 4-head, 5-head like that, you'll see if you're not familiar with his taste in women. A side note, maybe I shouldn't be talking so much. Mine's kind of fading back. The realities of when I trim all my hair off, I get to see that, so I'll be working on a 5-head here soon enough. According to the new paperwork, Nicole's legal team is seeking any and all documents evidencing all monies paid on retainer and or fees and costs paid to legal counsel and or experts in connection with any paternity action, regardless of whether formal action was held and whether said legal action ever was or is pending in a court in Los Angeles or anywhere else in the world. Nicole wants Young, whose name is Andre Young, to turn over any diaries or journals he may have kept. Andre Young keeping a diary, plus records of money or gifts worth $500 or more he has given to third parties. The rapper's attorneys are strongly opposing Nicole's demands, arguing that disclosing paternity suits or other personal information would invade Young's right to privacy and the right to privacy of any third parties. Interesting, why are they fighting so hard? I get the whole privacy and everything, but Last week, Nicole, who has accused Young of rampant and repeated marital misconduct, dropped a bombshell by naming 3 third parties, alleged mistresses of the music tycoon, whom she wants to subpoena to give depositions in her upcoming divorce. Makes you wonder how long she knew about these 3 women and allegedly how long things were going on with her and Andre. We learned about the individuals already: Jillian Spear, Keely Anderson, and Crystal Rogers, the queen of Latin hip-hop. Never heard of her. I'm not in that realm, though. Don't listen to hip-hop. All three are fighting Nicole's legal efforts to subpoena them as witnesses, and they've hired lawyer Chris LaFan, who last week filed a motion to quash the subpoenas, saying none of the women has information relevant to the enforceability of a disputed premarital agreement, PMA, at the center of the divorce. LaFan's court filings for all three women don't go into detail on whether they had affairs with Young. But he said any extramarital affair would be irrelevant because California is a no-fault divorce state. And in a pleading or proceeding for dissolution of marriage or legal separation of the parties, including depositions and discovery proceedings, evidence of specific acts of misconduct is improper and inadmissible. Interesting. All right, let's get on to this. Ooh. This here again, but here's a little bit better, and yeah, that'll work. Okay, so that's the queen of Latin hip-hop, Crystal Sierra. If anybody knows any of her, whoa! We've moved past 4 and 5 head territory onto 6. If anybody knows of any of the songs of hers that she's put out, let me know. And that was just a way for me to scroll back up and see her photo again. Ooh, spicy. There's another one. Okay, so that's Keely Anderson. So this is the Jillian Spear individual, songwriter and musician. Never heard of her. But as I said, I'm not in that realm. Here's a little bit more of the article if you want to read about it some more. That's pretty much the gist, though. Now here's what I was talking about earlier. All right, so here you see The Fam. Yikes. I wonder if that's the one he paid to get into USC. Look at down here. Nicole and Young have 2 children together. Work with me on this one. Truis and Truly. While Dre has 6 children by 5 different women. That's a boatload of children with a boatload of women. To think that he may have been stepping out, given his track record, wise to file the suit. But as that attorney said there, it may not have any legal bearing. It seems like if that's the case, that's just a way to kind of sling mud, twist his arm a little bit to get a better settlement. And the prenup is the thing that is at the center of the conflict. Let's read a little bit here about this part. This is kind of important here. Dre maintains that the PMA still exists, while Nicole claims he tore up the original document in front of her after they married in a gesture of his love for her. I love you, baby. Nothing will ever come between us. So that seems to be the thing right there, the PMA. Dre wants a judge to determine whether the prenup is valid and enforceable, and until that ruling is made, he maintains that his business records are none of Nicole's business. Nicole claims she has been shown 2 versions of the PMA, one that's missing pages and is unsigned, the other that's only signed by the couple and not by a lawyer, witness, or notary public. But Dre's lawyer Wasser countered, calling Nicole's statement simply not true and saying that Dre provided Nicole with a copy of the PMA that's signed by both parties and a notary public. The Young divorce has become more and more contentious since Nicole filed at the end of June this year. In September, the rapper accused his wife of criminal misconduct in embezzling more than $350,000 from one of their bank accounts. And in early October, Nicole asked a judge to order Young to pay $1.5 million for various expenses, including her security. Security? Why would she need security? Plus $5 million towards her attorney fees and other costs. Both requests were denied. So there you have it. Now, let's check out some comments real quick. Some of these weren't here when I pulled this up about an hour ago. This person says here, you are seriously embarrassing yourself. Stop already. He will always have more money and power than you because unlike you, he works for a living. Shut your mouth and get a job. Honestly, you look a fool. Stop trying to squeeze every penny out of this man. He owes you nothing. You two are no longer together. Get over it. Move on. Somebody says here, I'm sure he had many, and it's his right to. Hashtag man's world, hashtag be kind. Don't know where the hashtag be kind comes in. Doesn't matter that he sowed his wild oats somewhere else. and somewhere else, and somewhere else, and somewhere else, and somewhere else. Of course he did. Here were the comments that were up when I first pulled this up. Obviously, some things I hinted at a little bit earlier. He likes men looking women. Yeah, whatever. I don't care anything about this. But I will say, goodness, his taste in women are gross, and boy, does she have a large neck. 5 heads. Somebody talks about the 6 kids with 5 different women here. His taste in women is atrocious. She was a mistress herself. Is that true? Probably. And then he likes them a bit manly. He really has a type. Very manly looking women. We'll just leave it there. I can't add a comment to this. Like I said, it just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. Ultimately, though, you got the gist from there. The bottom line that the judge needs to decide on is the PMA. Who's telling the truth? Once we decide who's telling the truth, or once we figure that out through the legal process, then we'll know how this is going to go. If she's telling the truth, then cha-ching, she's about to hit the jackpot. But if Young and his attorney are telling the truth, then this chick's about to be put out. If it goes that way, though, we'll see what happens if they just kind of give her a little something to get her to go away. Say, hey, here's 10 million bucks, go away, don't bother us ever again. If it does go that direction. Now that's an ego thing, and it could be something where it's not necessary, but for the sake of getting things moved along and done with, what's $10 million, 20, 30, even if you don't have to, what's that to a guy who's a billionaire? As I said, heartbreaking stuff. It would pain me to see him lose half his money. But that being said, good for him for becoming a billionaire. I love capitalism, baby, and I love to see people doing well in the United States and making a ton of money. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care and let me know what you think of this stuff. Oh, I know. It's just the most important thing in your life right now, right? All the best.